Second, we must explicitly encourage an individual's intuitive competence. I am an executive coach at a Los Angeles affiliate of a Japanese electronics company which manufactures TVs and home and car stereo systems. Most people I coach are competent at their job, but they're in a box. They don't think outside the box. They do not feel comfortable visioning, imagining crazy solutions to problems, and then working out the details of how to make the crazy idea happen. Most of the people I coach appear to be very busy maintaining the organization's existence and meeting deadlines. And this means that they focus on facts and job skills. But this keeps them in a box and reduces their efficiency. And this means that they appear very busy maintaining the organization's existence and meeting deadlines. Fortunately, when the company hired me to be their executive coach, they sent a signal to their employees that being coached to think outside the box is desirable. They did not hire me to work on their job skills. Having employees thinking outside the box does not require an executive coach, but it helps. Have brainstorming sessions on a real problem in which the only rules are that everyone speaks and every idea is used as a building block for other ideas. Ask team members to spend a few minutes a week writing crazy ideas into a crazy idea book. 30 minutes a week is only 1.25% of a 40-hour work week. If your organization has 100 members, devoting 50% of one position to following up on crazy ideas is allocating only 0.5% of labor cost to the basis of innovations and cost savings. If intuition is truly valued, then allocating 1.25% of a work week or 0.05% of labor costs to this is perhaps the best decision an organization will ever make. In the company where I serve as executive coach, I coach 13 managers. 2 of those managers are in positions which affect so much of the organization that even if I coached only them, and even if the coaching helped generate one good idea a month, or help them execute one good idea a month, the annual savings to the company would be many times what they pay me. I rarely speak with the people I coach explicitly about intuition because most of them associate intuition with fuzziness. So I talk about thinking outside the box. I talk about insight. I talk about the functioning of the right side of the brain. I talk about creativity and things similar to that. I use my intuition so that I don't have to talk to them directly about their intuition. Another way to enhance our intuitive competence is to respect group intelligence. Yes, groups are composed of individuals, but a group of individuals can have a total collective intelligence which is more than the sum of the intelligence of the individual group members. In order to make use of this larger intelligence, you must be willing to allow everyone to contribute. begin with the assumption that everyone can contribute, even if they are not very skilled at expressing it. Listen carefully to what each person has to say and allow it to stimulate your own thoughts and the thoughts of others. I have never seen it fail that one person's idea, however far from the final solution it may be, stimulates a chain of ideas which eventually gets the group to the solution they desire. Yet another method would be to take a break from the facts. Too many facts creates diminishing returns, which means that after you accumulate a certain amount of facts, additional facts have less value. I don't know how many facts creates diminishing returns, but I do know that diminishing returns or analysis paralysis is a problem. And when it occurs, you can't see the forest from the trees. To help make things clearer, you may want to create a mind map occasionally. Allocate a wall for a big mind map, a big group mind map, by simply taping butchered paper to a wall. This will allow you to see what you know. It will allow you to see the links among the things you know, and it will allow you to see what's missing. There's probably nothing missing other than realizing that the solution is right there on the map. It is not necessary to be the smartest person in the world to be very creative. It is necessary that you can see the forest from the trees. So how should you proceed? Well, intuition, as I've been speaking about it, is so widely used everywhere in the world that we rarely speak about it, and rarely do we have to speak about it. Intuition as part of psychic phenomena is something else. Intuition as psychic phenomena is, I believe, based on years of personal experience. And it is just as real as is gut feelings. In fact, intuition as part of psychic phenomena and gut feelings are in many respects identical to each other. But this is another topic for another time. Until next time, my friends, and thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Frantz. We will now continue with the second question and answer session. Our first question is from Peru. It is from La Universidad Ricardo Palma in the city of Lima, Peru.
Morning. Buenos días. We consider intuition gives certain ease in coexisting and living together. What are the strategies and tools that additional that you could provide us in order to use and create a culture which has some productive application in educational, public, and private institutions?
Dr. Frantz?
The question again, please.
The question is additional skills that can be used.
Of course, I can repeat the question. The intuition is a skill that we can all develop with certain ease in certain situations of entertainment and when we're living with someone. Of course, it is a little more difficult when we're talking about productive situations or in business setup. What strategies or tools can you suggest so that we can create a productive culture in organizations in the different sectors, including government and private and educational institutions?
Yeah, the first thing is you need to have the backing of the people who are in senior positions. Once you have the backing of people in senior positions, then there are a number of things that you could do. One is that you're not asking people to absolutely trust their intuition when they're making final decisions, whether it's in business, government, or in education. You're simply asking that people use this ability that humans have to develop strategies to understand situations before they have all the facts. So if you have the backing of the senior people, and if you remember that you're not asking people to go off and make important decisions based on feeling, and that you're willing to take the resources and the time to, gather the facts to see if the intuitions are correct, then I think you'd be on very firm ground.
Thank you. Our next question is from Panama. It's from La Universidad Tecnológica de Panamá in Panama City, Panama.
Buenos días. ¿Puede aplicarse el inventario de estilo personal?
Can you apply this taking stock of personal style in order to improve the way people learn? Está usted muy cerca del monitor. There is a okay, ahora can you apply the tool of taking stock of the personal style in order to improve the way people learn? Gracias. Okay, that was the question.
Dr. Frantz, personal style, and what impact does that have on the application of intuition?
The personal style inventory is going to indicate the way that people approach problems, the way that they make decisions. And in general, people who rely on their intuition more tend to learn in more visual ways. They tend not to rely much on analytical techniques. They don't learn through graphs. They don't learn through mathematics. And the thing about the personal style that is so revealing in groups is that it shows you that certain people are going to approach problems by gathering all the data, analyzing all the data, and coming to logical conclusions. And other people just simply don't rely on the facts, and yet they come to conclusions that are equally effective and equally valuable.
Thank you. Next, we have a question from the Dominican Republic. It is from Codatel in the city of Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic. We now have a call coming from Mexico City.
Muy buenos días.
Good morning.
¿Se ha considerado la intuición
You have
como
considered
una
intuition as an attunement with the environment in which the man is inserted. Would this be an energetic a body that is structured in resembling the circulatory system? Is that what we're talking about? Is this an additional body that resembles the circulatory system?
I'm not sure if human beings have other bodies, if you're talking about something like a soul. But what is clear is that intuition is the way in which the right hemisphere of the neocortex and the right hemisphere of the limbic system use data. It's the way that the right side of the brain thinks. So if that's if you want to think about that as being another body, then to that extent it's another body.
Our next question is from Mexico. It is from La Universidad de Occidente in the city of Los Mochis in the state of Sinaloa in Mexico.
Sí, buenos días.
Buenos días. We would like to congratulate the presenters, the expert speakers, for their wonderful talks here. Our question here is the factor of experience. With which one of the two aspects, logic or intuition, is it more related? And what can we obtain through applying this constantly?
There's a very interesting study that was done on MBA students, students in a Master's of Business Administration, and CEOs of corporations. And they would ask these two groups similar questions. And the interesting result was that both groups came up with very similar answers. But the difference is that the CEOs took a fraction of the time of the MBA students. And the reason is that the CEOs had years and years and years of experience. And when they're presented with a similar situation, the CEOs automatically, intuitively, subconsciously draw on all that experience. They don't have to analyze the situation because all of that analysis is being done subconsciously. So the experience is related to the intuition, but again, the intuition is really using experience from, years and years.
Thank you. Our next question is from La Universidad Autónoma de Baja California Sur in the city of La Paz in the state of Baja California Sur, Mexico.
What can we do to develop intuition in people who are apathetic within the organization? And as far as gender or sex, what is the impact of the development of women in formulating projects, in working on projects, and as also in decision-making processes, given that women have a high level of intuition, or they're known for that?
People who are apathetic, it doesn't really matter if they're apathetic. The one thing about mind mapping that is so interesting is that if you present even an apathetic person with a situation and you ask them to write down all the associations that come to mind, they will, apathetically or not apathetically, come up with an enormous amount of information, and they will make an enormous amount of connections between different facts and events and situations that they probably never thought of before. As far as women in organizations, it's apparently the case that women have more connections between the two hemispheres of their brain, so it's easier for women to combine intuition and logic, which is why women can make such contributions in business or in any other field.
Thank you. We're going to try again to make connection with the Dominican Republic, the call we lost before, from Codatel in the city of Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic.
What relationship is there between the culture and their values and intuition? What connection do you see between culture and value and intuition?
The thing is, a lot of the things that we assume about the world and the things we assume about ourselves and who we are and what we're capable of, some of it comes from ourself, something just totally unique. Some of it comes from our family, and some of it we get from our culture. So the culture at large is something that is going to create a set of assumptions. It's going to build a world view that we're going to live with. And then it's a matter of our being able to, in a sense, chip away at that world view to give us more freedom to think outside the box, which is very, very possible for every one of us.
Thank you. Our next call is from Mexico. It's from La Universidad La Salle in Mexico City, Mexico.
Good morning. We want to send our greetings to all of you. I am Benjamin Castañeda, and I would like to ask you, the expert speakers, the following. We have here developed at this university a program for creativity development, which combines both the right and the left brain. And we're working in groups, and we try to detect people who would be more tending to the left brain and the right brain, and then we combine the groups depending on what we have detected as their abilities. And so far we haven't found a bibliography that really alludes to programs that are more specializing and focusing on developing the left brain, whereas we have found a lot of programs that develop the right brain. Would you have any suggestions of programs that would develop the left brain, focus on developing the left brain?
Bill Taggart, who I mentioned in my program, he has an entire series of courses at the undergraduate and the graduate level for universities, which addresses that problem directly. So I would ask if I think you have his email address, and I would just contact him by email. And he has just a storehouse of information about this.
Our next question is from La Universidad Autónoma de Baja California Sur. It is from the city of Los Cabos in the state of Baja California Sur.
The question is, how does the intuitive thought influences in the administrative personnel of an educational institution for them to change their behavior and for them to have a logical behavior? And another question that we have. Usted está demasiado cerca del monitor. Congratulations to you, the speakers. We're very enriched by your information. The question is, can the human being work in order to develop in a more balanced way the three types of brain, or the three hemispheres, as well as the quadrants, or does each person naturally and congenitally have a certain tendency to use one part of the brain as opposed to another? And another part of the question is, what techniques can we use to detect what hemisphere is dominating in this case for a certain employee or the employees at large, in order to detect that and try and fix their brains? Thank you.
Okay. All three questions quickly, Dr. Frantz.
What can you do at a school to use intuition to affect logic? If you're at a school, you don't have to do anything to affect logic. Schools are all about logic. Unfortunately, that's all they do. Another thing is, you don't want to do too much with your reptilian brain, because that's the part of you which is, utterly uncreative. Okay, so stay away from that reptilian brain all you can. Okay, anything?
Oh, go ahead. That's
Yeah.
the three things. Any techniques?
There is a very, very good book about exercises for each of the four quadrants, and I can't think of the name, but I will get it and I will give it to Nancy Martinez, and she'll get you the name of that book.
Okay, the next and I think final question will be from La Universidad Tecnológica de Tecamachalco in the city of Tecamachalco in the state of Puebla in Mexico.
Good morning, everybody. Our question is the following. According to certain studies, there are 7 types of intelligence. For our university, what could you recommend so that we can promote and develop the creative capacity of our students, taking into account their kind of intelligence, their type of intelligence?
The thing is, there is good research that these 7 intelligences are very real. And at a university, that is the first step, is establishing the factual basis for all 7 types of intelligence.
Thank you for your excellent questions, but unfortunately we've run out of time. We hope that you have enjoyed participating once again in this exciting multilingual and multinational program. We invite you to participate in our 11th video conference of this year's series, which will air on November 9, 2000, entitled Global Intelligence and Performance Competence, the New Tools for Growth. For additional information on the year 2000 video conference series, please consult your participant's manual, where you will find the dates and specific topics for each program. You may also visit our websites, intectra.com, onlinecompetence.com, and distanceeducator.com. On behalf of all of us who collaborate with the International Training Center, I thank you for your enthusiastic participation and interest in today's program. Thanks, and see you again soon.